Hello dear kiddos of grade 7, how are you doing? Hope you are doing good. I am also fine and sound, hope the same with you. How have you spent all these days in your home? Okay, anyhow, I welcome everyone back to our English class again. This is your English teacher. I am very glad to stand before you through these online audio visuals to start our 7th class English first unit, first lesson. Dear students, do you remember that last year you have been introduced a new textbook which is titled as Blossoms 6 for grade 6 children. This year the same series has been continued for you. The book is titled as Blossoms 7, and as I already explained earlier for you, blossoms means a small flowers which will be turned out to be fruits in future. Anyhow, in this grade 7 you will have 2 semesters. You will be given 2 textbooks, one for each semester, dear children, and now you can see the semester 1 book. It consists of 4 units. Can you see that? This is the first unit, which is titled as My Painted House, My Friendly Chicken and Me. The second unit is The Turning Point, and the third unit is A Journey Through the Hills and Valleys, and fourth unit is The Brave Little Bowman. See, all these 4 units together will make your semester 1, and in semester 2 you will have again 4 lessons. So in each semester you will have 4 lessons each. So if we can finish these 4 lessons successfully, then it means we have finished semester 1. So as part of the semester 1, today I would like to start first unit, first lesson. I am very glad to start this lesson for you. Let's get started. Okay, the first lesson, I think you can clearly see on the screen, it is visible, right? This is our first unit. Dear students, can you see that? I will read out the title for you. It is titled as My Painted House, My Friendly Chicken and Me. I think the title is very clear, right? My Painted House, My Friendly Chicken and Me. Here the speaker of this lesson is directly addressing the listeners. Who are the listeners? We are the listeners. The speaker is addressing us. Who is the speaker? I think you can see here. Yes, you can see the speaker here. A little girl named Thandi. A little girl named Thandi. It is pronounced as Thandi, spelling Thandi. Okay, children. Once again, the unit name is My Painted House. It means the speaker's painted house. The second one is My Friendly Chicken. It means the speaker's, Thandi's friendly chicken, and me. Me refers to Thandi herself. So the speaker of this lesson is a little girl named Thandi, and she belongs to a tribe named Dibali. I will show you the word for you also. Dibali. In British English it is pronounced as Dibali. In American English it is pronounced as Ndibali. But before getting into the lesson, let us discuss in detail about the face sheet which you can see now. So this is the face sheet. Pre-reading, observe the picture, discuss and answer the questions, right? Let's move on to the questions, but before that I will give you some time to observe the picture. What all can you see in the picture, my dear kiddos? You can see many shacks, many huts and green fields and many domestic animals including cows, rabbits, hen, goat, cat, sheep, right? Cattle, you can see many types of cattle in the picture, and you can see greenery everywhere. There are big trees, right? Different kinds of trees, and moreover as soon as you see this image, you can see it's a village atmosphere. It is a scene which we can regularly see, frequently see in villages, right? By seeing this image, it is a village, it is a country, right? You can see a well, and little kids are enjoying with the animals, right? Some of them are feeding them, some of them are collecting milk from the cows, some of them are playing with the animals. Okay, right, let's move on to the first question. I will show you the first question. Right, here is the first question. Can you see the first question, dear children? Where are the children? This is the question. Where are the children? A very simple answer. Children are in the village. Is there any other best possible answer for this? I don't think so, right? As soon as we see this image, we can guess it. They are in the village. They are playing with the domestic animals, many types of cattle. Okay, let's move on to the second question. What is the second question? Yeah, here it is. Is it a village or a town? Why? So what do you think is the answer? Obviously village, right? Because in towns we cannot see shacks or huts, we cannot see well in the middle of a living locality, living residence, and moreover you can see greenery, many trees, many cattle, many domestic animals. By seeing all these things we can surely say, we can affirm that it is a scene in village. Village people can experience that, but it is not experienced by the people who live in town. Okay, right? So this is answer for the second one. Is it a village or a town? Obviously it is a village. I have explained the reason why it is a village. Let's move on to the third question. What are the boys looking at? See, the boys are looking at the animals. They are playing with the animals. Some of them are taking eggs which were laid by hen, and some of them are feeding the animals like goat, and a little girl is feeding a cat, and two little kids are gathering milk from the cow, right? They are enjoying, they are playing with them. Okay, let's go to the next question, the fourth one. Are the children friendly with the animals? Discuss. Are the children friendly with the animals? Discuss, right? Here friendly means to be in a warm mood, to be in a cheerful mood. Okay, right? Obviously answer is yes. The children are friendly with the animals. They are not fighting with the people, right? Simply by seeing the image you can easily guess that they are playing with them. So obviously children are friendly with the animals, and in return animals are also friendly with the children. Okay, let's move on to the last question, the fifth one. What are the children doing? Children are playing with the animals. Some of the children are collecting eggs laid by the hen. Some of the children are gathering milk. Some of them are feeding the animals, and some of them are playing. And a little girl, I think you can see here, right? Here a little girl is carrying water in a pot filled water, right? So these are the children doing there. So in total they are enjoying a lot. Okay, let's move on to the next three lines which were given there. What can you see there? Now let us read about an 8-year-old girl who lives in a painted village in South Africa with her mother, her aunts, her mischievous younger brother, and her best friend, a chicken. So face sheet is over. We have seen a photograph along with the 5 questions. Now we are going to start our unit 1 first lesson, a very interesting lesson, dear kiddos. It is a lesson, it is about an 8-year-old girl. I have already revealed the name, Thandi. Thandi lives in a painted village in South Africa. I already told that she belongs to a particular tribe named Ndibali. In American English it is Ndibali, in British English it is Dibali. She belongs to a particular tribe. What do you think is tribe? A group of people of same race, of same customs, traditions and languages. Okay, right? Tribals, often we can see them even in our India also, right? The largest tribal group in our India is Gonds. Tribals usually live far away from the villages and towns. They usually live in forests or in mountains or near the mountains or around the mountains. Even their attire, their way of dressing is also different. They are uncivilized people. They don't know what technology is. They don't know what apartments are. They don't know what mobile phones are, what computers are. They are far away from the civilized society. Such type of people are known as, are called as tribes. And this 8-year-old girl Thandi is also a tribal girl. Her tribe name is Dibali or Ndibali. Now she is living along with her mother, her aunts and her younger brother also. And here you have to remember one word. The word is mischievous. Can you see the word here? Mischievous. Right? What do you think is mischievous, children? Mischievous means to irritate someone playfully. The one who irritates or the one who annoys someone, right? Usually it takes place between a sister and brother or a brother and sister. They will always fight playfully but not seriously, right? Mischievous, right? She lives with her mother, she lives with her aunts along with her younger brother. She was older, her brother was younger, and even she also lives with her best friend, a chicken. See, as soon as you heard this, I think you are a little bit surprised, because let me ask you a question. Who is your best friend, dear children? obviously you will have a person as your best friend. Not only you, every human being's best friend is a fellow human being. Our friends are persons. Our friends are not animals. Our friends are not birds. But this 8-year little girl, Tandi's best friend is a chicken, a chick, a young fowl. The meaning is a young fowl. The word chicken means a young fowl. If you want, I am writing the meaning here. A young fowl. F-O-W-L. If you want, you can note the meaning, children. Chicken means young fowl, the baby of a hen or a rooster. Right. Shall we start the lesson? So the lesson is titled as My Painted House. Here you can see the lesson name. My Painted House, My Friendly Chicken, and me. Tandi's painted house, Tandi's friendly chicken, and Tandi herself. Right, here how is Tandi's house? You can see the word painted here. The word painted is of course a verb, but here it acts as an adjective because it is describing the nature of the house. So adjective is a word that describes the quality or character or nature of a noun or pronoun. Even though it ends with ed, it is not a verb here. It doesn't function as verb, it functions as adjective. Painted house, beautifully painted house. Okay, right, let's move on to the paragraph reading. Now here Tandi is directly addressing us. Tandi is directly calling you, those who are listening this lesson. See how she is calling? Hello stranger friend. Hello stranger friend. Who is addressing like that? Tandi is addressing you like that. Hello stranger friend. What do you mean by stranger? The word stranger means an unknown person. I am writing the meaning here. Tandi means an unknown person. Can you see that? An unknown person with whom we don't have any acquaintance. Right, here Tandi is addressing us as stranger friend because Tandi did not know who we are. That's why she was addressing us like that. Hello stranger friend, I am Tandi. She is introducing herself. An Ndibali girl. You can see the word here right now, right? I am Tandi and Ndibali. See, it is pronounced as Dibali or Ndibali. Often you can ignore N. It is actually a silent letter. You can ignore or you can slightly pronounce it. I will show you the phonetic transcript for the word Ndibali. I think you can see the phonetic transcript of Ndibali here. Can you see, children? Ndibali. It's a noun. The way it is pronounced is given here. See, the letter E is kept in brackets, in parentheses. Do you know why? Because the pronunciation may be ignored. You may pronounce or you may ignore it. So finally it is pronounced as, it is sounded as Dibali. Shall we see the meaning of Dibali? A tribe from Zimbabwe and northeastern South Africa, and they speak the Bantu language. See, we speak Telugu, we speak English, we speak Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, Marathi, Gujarati, Assami, Oriya. There are many languages recognized by the government of India. In the same way, it is one of the official languages recognized by the South Africa. You can see that. Official languages of South Africa. So South Africa has recognized Bantu language as one of the official languages, like we have Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Malayalam, etc. Right. So now she belongs to Dibali tribe. Their language is Bantu. Right. Here is the first paragraph. I am Tandi. I am Dibali girl in South Africa. See, usually Dibali tribal people live in South Africa and Zimbabwe. She belongs to South Africa and I am 8 years old. Here I refers to the speaker Tandi. Tandi was 8-year-old and her best friend is a chicken, a chick, a young baby of a hen or a rooster. You may laugh at that. Definitely we will get laugh. See, if I say my best friend is chick, my best friend is a pig, or my best friend is a donkey, everybody will get laugh. Because as I told earlier, human beings will have friends as fellow human beings, right? My best friend is a fellow human being. Only human being can act as our friend. But here, Tandi's best friend is chicken. right? You may laugh at that, but when I tell my friend secrets, she can talk all she wants. Here, see, as Thandi's friend is chicken, she used to spend much of time with her friend chicken. See, while spending time with chicken, Thandi tells many secrets to the chicken, and even the chicken can talk whatever she wants with Thandi. Is it possible? Have you ever talked with the chick? Have you ever talked with the chicken? Did the chicken in return talk with you? Has it ever talked with you? Not possible, right? But here Thandi is telling that her best friend is a chicken. She tells many stories to the chicken, and in return chicken also tells many things to Thandi. But here Thandi is emphasizing one thing. What is that? I will tell so many secrets to my friends, and my friend chicken will also tell me so many things, but no one can understand her. Here her refers to not a human being. Understand it. Here the word her refers to, you can see that. Here the word her refers to Thandi's best friend chicken. Thandi speaks with the chicken, and chicken also speaks with Thandi, but nobody can understand what the chicken is speaking, because it is not actually a language, right? See, when you are going on a street, many times you might have heard a barking dog, right? A dog which is barking, right? Can you understand anything from a dog's bark? You cannot understand. You cannot understand, because it is not a language. Say, if a monkey is shouting, or if any animal is shouting, we cannot understand what it is trying to enact, what it is trying to tell us. In the same way, Thandi, even though her best friend is chicken, even though the chicken is telling something to Thandi, she couldn't understand what Thandi is telling. Okay, then who can understand the chicken's language? And another chicken, you can see that here. Except another chicken, nobody can understand my best friend chicken's language. Of course means giving consent to an idea, right? Let's move on to the second paragraph. I hope you have understood the first paragraph. Anyhow, I will summarize. Here is a little girl named Thandi who belongs to Ndebele tribe in South Africa. She was 8 years old, and her best friend is a chicken. We may get laugh. You are a little bit surprised. It is not something usual, right? We are really astonished by knowing the information that Thandi's best friend was a chicken, and Thandi tells many things to her best friend chicken, and chicken also in return tells many things to Thandi, but nobody can understand the language or the expressions made by chicken except another chicken. Okay, right. Now second paragraph. My chicken listens to my stories. She has other uses too. If you play with her and take her mind off what's going on, you can very quickly snatch a feather or two when she is distracted. She does not notice, and the feathers will come in handy later, of course. Right, now you can see the little girl named Thandi. Yes, she is Thandi. Can you see it? Okay, very nice. Her name is Thandi. Right, let's go back to the first line of second paragraph again. My chicken listens to my stories. Whose chicken? Thandi's chicken. What does she listen? She listens to the stories of its master, Thandi. And not only this use, right? See here, Thandi has many uses by the chicken. One use, she can tell stories to her, and the second use, let us see what is it. If you play with her and take her mind off, if you play well with the chicken, and if you divert the attention about what's going on, we can easily, quickly snatch a feather. Snatch means to pull. The word snatch means to pull away something forcibly, or to grab something. Even you can consider this meaning as well. The word snatch means pull or grab, right? When chicken is passive, see, you are telling a story in deep, and the chicken has also involved in the story. She is listening very attentively, very cautiously, very carefully. Now her mind is off, her mind is passive. The chicken could not able to observe what's happening around her. When the chicken is in that state, you can easily pluck a feather. What do you mean by feather? Can I show you the picture of feather, dear children? Yes, I think you can see here. Yeah, it's a feather. Right. Feather means, right children, a feather means a hair like structure that grow on the bodies of the birds, right? So image is not available, so video is disturbed for a minute. Now I will show you the image of feather, right? You can see, yes, these are feathers, right? You might have seen for many birds, even for hens, even for roosters, right? See, when you take off the mind away from the chicken, you can easily pluck many feathers from Thondi's best friend, chicken, right? Thondi always tells stories, and by the stories, she diverts the attention of the chicken. And when attention is taken away, when the attention has been taken away from her, now Thondi plucks quickly one or two feathers from the body of the chicken, from the body of her best friend. Why? Because as she told earlier, there are many uses, right? Let us see how it is useful, how the feather is useful for Thondi. Okay, right. Third line once again, you can see the third line here. Snatch a you can quickly snatch a feather or two when she is distracted. Here she refers to Thondi's best friend chicken. When chicken is distracted, can I tell you the meaning of distracted? Distracted means to divert attention. I am writing the meaning here. DIVE or to divert attention. Yes, if you want, you can note down the meaning. Divert attention. Now, who diverted the attention here? Thondi diverted the attention of chicken. Why? To take away one or two feathers. Why? What is the use for Thondi with the feathers of the chicken? Let's discuss that. And here the last line. What is the last line now? And she does not notice, she does not observe. The chicken does not observe because her mind is very passive. The attention has been taken away, and the feathers will come in handy later. Come in handy, it's a phrase, very important phrase. The meaning, come in handy, turn out to be useful. Come in handy meaning turn out to be useful. Turn out to be useful. See, now she has plucked one or two feathers from the body of the chicken. Now in future, these feathers will turn out to be useful for her. In what way it is useful for her? Let us discuss that. Third paragraph. What is described in the third paragraph? I have two hopes. Speaker is Thondi again. Thondi has two hopes. What are they? One is my name, Thondi, which means hope in my language. We know hope. Hope means a desire or expectation. I am writing the meaning. Hope means desire or expectation. You can know the meaning of that. Now, she has two hopes. One is her name Thondi, which means hope in her language. We know what's her language is, right? Bantu language. In Bantu language, Thondi means hope, desire or expectation. Every human being will have some desires and some expectations. All children are a hope for their families. Of course, you are also a children. There are many hopes on you. Your parents have many hopes on you, right? My children will become so and so. My children will become doctors. My children will become engineers. My children will become great personalities in the society, right? They will have many hopes on you. In the same way, Thondi's parents also have many hopes on her. And let's move on to the next line. All children are hope for their families, and many Dibali girls are named Hope. You can see that line here. Many Dibali girls are named Hope. Not only Thondi's name is Hope, but also there are many other girls with the same name. If you like, you can call yourself Hope to hear. Thondi is giving us a suggestion. What is that suggestion? You can have your name as Hope. You can rename yourself as Thondi. Even if you are a boy, you can call yourself as Thandi. She is telling that in the third line, right? Here. Especially if you are a boy, of course. If you are a boy, of course, no problem. Even if you are a boy or even if you are a girl, it doesn't matter. No matter about the gender, you can call yourself as Thandi. Hope. This is the first hope for her, and the second hope is, the other hope I have is that at the end of this book, at the end of this lesson, she can say goodbye friend, not goodbye stranger friend. See, in the beginning, the way she addressed us, you can see that here. Hello stranger friend. Stranger means unknown. But the second hope of Thandi is, she does not want to address us as strangers even at the end of this lesson. Then how or in what way she wanted to address us? She wanted to address as good boy friend. It means she wanted to have a good relation with us. She wanted to make friendship with us. In the beginning of the lesson, she does not know who we are, but by the end of the lesson, she wanted to make us as her friends. That's her hope. I hope you have understood. Let's go for the next thing, the next paragraph. I don't know why, but Dibali people, I am reading this paragraph now, dear children, observe carefully. I don't know why, but Dibali people do not call anything beautiful. For example, I will consider Taj Mahal. How we explain or introduce about the Taj Mahal? Taj Mahal is one of the greatest historical constructions in the entire world. We say it is the best historical construction. But people of Dibali tribe, they do not call anything beautiful, anything the best. Even if it is the best, they don't call it as the best. Suppose in Bantu language, they tell Taj Mahal is good, that's all. They don't accept Taj Mahal is the best. Of course, they don't call anything as the best, even if it is the best thing. Right, once again I am reading that line. I don't know why, but Dibali people do not call anything beautiful. Even that the best thing is described as good. Suppose Taj Mahal is the best construction, best historical construction, but they call it as good construction. They don't call it as best construction. They don't hail anything as the best. They say just good. Okay, next slide. All Dibali women paint their houses, and I want you to know, stranger friend, no one's house is as good as my mother's. See, here Thandi is praising about the work done by her own mother. Dibali women paint their houses usually in their localities, in their living areas. It is not the men who paint the walls of their houses, it is women. Women paint their houses. Can I show you some pictures how they paint houses? It is so marvelous, gorgeous and amazing. Really, their art is wonderful. I will show you some images for you. Right, can you see here, children? Yes, this is the house which was painted by the woman of Dibali. Dibali tribal people paint houses like this. The beautiful paintings, right? See how is the painting? A colorful, bright paintings painted by the woman, painted by the little girls of Dibali tribe. Really wonderful, right? Even we cannot paint walls like that. So they are the best painters, but they don't call themselves as best painters. How do they call? Just good. Okay, right, let's go back to the lesson. Now third line, Dibali women paint their houses. I have showed an image just now, and Thandi wants that we should know one thing about her mother. She wants us to know one thing about her mother. What is that? In their village, in their Dibali village or Ndibali village, no one's house is as beautiful as her mother's house. In other words, we can understand that Thandi's house is the best painted house in their entire village. Thandi's mother is a beautiful painter. She is a beautiful artist. She has painted her house so marvelously and gorgeously. That's why here Thandi is sure, Thandi is confident that her mother is the best painter and nobody's house is as good as Thandi's house. Or simply we can understand Thandi's house is the best painted house in their area, in their Dibali village. Now she has started to teach me, next line, let's go back to this line. She has started to teach me to paint very good designs as well. Here the word she refers to Tandi's mother. Tandi's mother has started teaching about the painting, how to paint good, how to draw good patterns, good designs. Mother started teaching for Tandi, and Tandi had learned painting from her mother. Mother is teacher, mother is guide, right? Mother is giving her knowledge about painting. Okay, right, let's go to the next page. Here in the next page you can see again the lines which were spoken by Tandi. When I am taller, I shall have a house so good, people will stop in front of my walls and smile and even laugh out loud. See, now Tandi was just 8-year-old girl. Now she has a desire. When she is taller, it means when she grows up, when she becomes a young girl, she would like to have a house. She wanted to construct a house or build a good house so that everyone can stop in front of her house and they will look at the paintings painted by the Tandi and they will smile. Right? Now Tandi wanted to see smiles on people's faces whenever they look at the walls of the Tandi. This is her future goal. She wanted to build a house and she wanted to paint her walls beautifully so that everyone who passes through her house will stop there, will look at her paintings, will smile, and they even laugh out loudly. And she wanted to see those beautiful smiles on their faces just because of her paintings. Okay? Let's move on to the next two lines. You have to have strong eyes to paint well. This is one of the important eligibility criteria to become a good painter. You should have strong eyes and your hand must not shake, right? Usually she has compared here with a leaf. The leaves in the branches usually shake. If a wind blows, the leaves will shake. If the rain starts, the leaves will shake. The leaves in the branches will shake. So your hand should not shake like this to paint. See, if our hand shakes like this, we cannot be a good painter. We cannot paint good. Our painting doesn't look good. So these are two major characteristics for a good painter. Your eyes should be strong and your hand, your finger should not shake like a leaf on a tree. And because you must fill a chicken's feather. See, now in the previous page I told that Tandi tells a story. Tandi makes the chicken passive. Tandi diverts the attention of chicken. After diverting the attention, she plucks 1 or 2 feathers. I asked you a question, what is the uses because of the feathers plucked from chicken? This is the use. After plucking, after snatching away the feathers from chicken, Tandi will dip it in the paint. Did you understand what I told just now? Tandi will dip the chicken's feather in paint and she will start drawing the painting whatever she likes to draw, whatever design, whatever pattern she likes to draw. This is the use of feather. That's why she snatches away feathers from the chicken. By telling a story, by diverting the attention, she plucks the feather just to paint, right? With hand or with finger she cannot paint. She requires a feather. After taking feather, she dips that into the paint and she starts painting. She will start painting every time. That is why she will tell a story to her best friend chicken, right? So after filling the chicken's feather with your paint, you have to draw a line as straight as a spear. See, to draw a straight line with our finger, definitely our hand should be firm. Our hand should be still and steady. If you shake your hands, then you cannot draw a straight line properly, right? So you have to draw a line which is like spear. I will show you what spear is. It is actually a sharp tip or right, children. Yeah, this is spear. A sharp tipped weapon used by many kings to hunt something or to kill someone, right? A sharp tipped weapon, right? Let's go back to the lesson. See how straight the spear is. You have to draw a line with your hands using the feathers. That's why Tandi is suggesting that a painter's hand should not shake off like a leaf on the tree. Okay, Let's go back to the next paragraph. You must have the pattern inside your head. See, you have feather, of course, you have plucked or you have gathered, you have collected feather from somewhere, you have paint also, but before you start your painting, you should have clear picture, you should have clear idea about what painting you are going to draw, what design it is, what pattern it is. You should have an idea in your head. Here head refers to mind. Even before you dip the feather, here dip means you put. When you know or when you have clear idea about your design, your painting, then you have to dip, you have to put the feather in the paint, into the paint. Next line, your hand must be steady to make the pattern. Here pattern is nothing but design, children. Pattern is nothing but painting design. Okay, right. Your hand must be steady. Steady means without any movement. It should be still. It should be firm. The word steady means firm. F-I-R-M. Without any slight movement. Like still. Without any motion. Right. Your hand must be steady to make the pattern sharp. If you want to make good designs, you must not shake off your hands. You must not shake off. You must not move your fingers improperly into any direction. Next, the walls are high and your legs must be strong. See, the people, usually Dibali people, will paint their walls. Their walls are so tall, so high. So in order to paint the entire wall, their legs should be so strong so that they can stand for much time to paint the entire wall. If their legs are not so strong, they cannot stand properly and they cannot paint good designs on their walls. So it is also a required criteria. Your hands must be firm, your hands must be still and steady to make better designs, and as the walls are so high, your legs must be strong as well. Sometimes my mother and her sister, it means Thandi's aunt. Sometimes Thandi's mother and Thandi's aunts sit by the fire in the winter. Usually people sit around the fire during the winter season to avoid the cold, to avoid the mist in the weather, right? Even I have also done that many times. During the winter season, we go out, we collect some woods, we collect some twigs and we set fire, right? We light them, and in order to prevent the cold, we will do it regularly during every morning in winter season. Even they are also doing the same. Sometimes Thandi's mother and Thandi's aunts sit by the fire, around the fire in winter, or in summer under the tree shades they will sit. See, during the winters, around the fire they will sit. During the summers, they will take rest under the shade of the trees, and they make good things with beads. I will show you what the beads are. The colorful beads, as I have already showed. Yes, these are the beads, colorful beads. See, different colorful beads are there. They will make some ornaments. They will make some chains using strings along with the beads. They will use beads, they will use strings, and they will sew them. They will make beautiful chains with these colorful beads. Okay, I hope you have got an idea, right? While sitting around the fire during the winter, they will sew. With the help of thread, they will sew these beads. And during summer season, they will happily sit under the shade of a tree and they will start working with the beads. What will they do? They will sew with the string. I think it is in the next line. Let's go back to that line, right? They will make good things, good chains with the beads. They tell stories as they sort. Here sort means arrange. They tell stories as they sort and string and sew. Sew means of course they stitch the chains here, right? My mother lets me watch her. When Thandi's mother and Thandi's aunts are doing, when Thandi's mother and Thandi's aunts were doing beautiful works with the beads, even Thandi will be watching them and she will also learn many things from them.